So I've started with a 20cm square canvas that I've primed and added a guide outline onto. I've painted black lines on the face where the darkest areas are, and I've painted the background orange, which I may possibly change at the end if I decide that I don't like it. I'm starting to add skin tones to the face as a base, and I'll build up the colours gradually. I'm also adding blue to the hair as a base coat and covering the whites of the canvas. I'm building up the pinks and the flesh hues to the face, working wet on wet with the acrylics. I love painting portraits, and I thought I'd have a go at painting a man. Something a bit bright and different. I'm going to change the hair to really a nice blue and put some vibrancy in the background. Just something a little bit new and exciting, rather than just a boring old plain old portrait. The colours I'm using at the moment are yellow ochre, crimson red, orange, ivory, white, portrait pink and burnt sienna. I'm then mixing these together on a palette and adding them to the portrait, building up the skin tones as I go. I've speeded up the process of the painting so that it doesn't take as long, and it's running in quick time. But the layers of the facial colours does take a while to build up. It's basically layering colour on colour until you're actually starting to see something that's starting to begin to look right. But that does take a while to do, especially in acrylics. Normally, I'd add slow dry and medium by Winsor & Newton to slow the drying of the paint, which is normally quite helpful and lets you blend the paints a lot better. But because this is quite a small portrait, I actually haven't needed to do that. I've been painting and drawing since I was a kid, and I just love doing it. And it's really fantastic to be able to share with you my painting and what I do. By the way, if you like the video, please leave any comments below. It'd be fantastic to hear from you. And smash and hit that like button. This is only my 4th video I've done, and I'm still learning and trying to improve each video as I go. But I hope you like it and find it interesting and helpful for you and to improve your techniques. Also, I hope it gives you insights and ideas for painting stuff yourself at home. The face is starting to look better. I'm now building up the cheekbones and blending below the nose and the lower jawline, and just blending all the colours in together. Also, the brushes I use when I'm painting portraits, I use the large flat brushes and also the small flats and the rounded end tips for the details. All my brushes I actually buy from the range, and I buy packs that come in like sort of 8 to 10 brushes with various shapes and sizes in, and I use them. Again, you can get them on Amazon if you can't get to the range and you're not in the UK, but I don't buy expensive brushes. I use cheap nylon brushes, though that are probably of a medium standard. The canvases I use are from various art shops, which I normally order online. Whoever's doing a deal and selling them probably cheaper. Sometimes I buy expensive canvases, sometimes I buy the cheaper ones. It did take me quite a while to get used to painting on a canvas and the grain on the canvas, because I used to work in watercolours, which was obviously really a flat surface, and I did used to find it quite difficult that the paint went down the holes in the canvas. But that's actually something that I've got used to now, and I think the more you work with a canvas, the better you become at that. And I don't seem to have the problems that I did when I actually started a few years back. Again, the paints that I use, the acrylic paints, I use various suppliers. Some I use are Winsor & Newton. Some I use are Art Studio Premium from the range. Some are Daily Rowney. Sorry, I can't pronounce that right. Some are Reeves. So acrylics, I just buy random acrylics from anywhere. I don't, again, use the top range. I may use some with the top range and some maybe the bottom range. That's just my preference. I'm adding to the cheeks, I'm using some portrait pink, some orange and some crimson red, building up the fat part of the cheeks that actually looks sunken. and just blending it in with the highlights of the cheekbone, looking at the eye and putting some detail into the eye and trying to get rid of the black key lines that were there at the start for me as a guide. I'm using a little detailed brush for the eyes, pulling out the pupils, the inner area of between the eyebrow and the actual eye where it's actually dark and almost joins into one almost continuous colour. The painting took me about 2 days to complete from start to finish, although it's actually quite small, and that was all the layering and getting the tones right of the face and the eyes and the hair. But it does take a while in acrylics, but again, if you was to do an oil painting, that also takes quite a while as well. I'm adding ultramarine and black to the hair, and I'm painting the strands in the direction that the hair would go, darkening up the eyebrows and adding the eyebrows in the directions that the hair would go actually on the eyebrows rather than just putting one big blob in. I'm now going to paint the background green, as I've decided that I don't like the look of the orange as it's distracting from the flesh tones of the face, and not making it stand out that well. As you can see, it's actually improved the painting by painting that background green. It's made the face jump out so much better. It's a much better improvement. I'm going to start adding some Reeves neon paints to the picture. I got this set from the range in the UK. If you can't get to the range, obviously, in the UK, you can get something equivalent on Amazon if you look up neon paints, acrylics on the site. I'm now adding ultramarine, electric blue and baby blue to the hair, and I'm painting in the strands and just graduating the hair and letting the strands go out onto the background. I'm adding banana yellow acrylic paint to the background, and I'm going to do circles all over, which has just suddenly appeared. And I'm trying to do them with a brush and keep them as circular and perfect as I can, which is a bit tricky. But what I'll do, I'll go over them afterwards and just clean and tidy them up and get the yellow paint thicker so that it's not opaque and that you can't see through it. And I'm just going to do those all over the back of the canvas on all 4 edges, just me circles everywhere. I'm doing the circles with a flat brush, and I'll use various sizes of brushes to make the sizes different of the circles. You will get blobs and the odd paint bits running, but you can clean that up afterwards. You can obviously go around the circles with your background colour, or also clean up your circles, which is what I've done. But just keep going and don't worry about those blobs and runs, because as it is acrylic, you will be able to clean them up and you will make them look better. But again, I'm not looking for a perfect circle. Thanks for watching my video. Please click like and subscribe. The colour of the eye, because the eye is never really white. It's it can almost be a pink or a blue going to a purple. So I'll start looking at the eye and the mouth, and I'm looking at all the colours of the flesh, because the flesh is obviously, it will have slight grey tones in, somewhere it'll have pink tones. You can have green and yellow also in your flesh. It's just a matter of looking carefully.